Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. As always, Scott Carson, excited here to be with you. And I don't know about you guys, but as we get into September and October, as the weather starts to cool in the mornings, it gets a little darker earlier, the wind begins to blow. And of course, all the retail stores start having Christmas stuff out already. No, no, no. I mean Halloween stuff out. And of course, you start seeing Netflix and Amazon all start to sharing their new movies, the haunted movies, the scary movies. And then of course you have new movies coming out like The Conjuring 4. Well, we can't get three of them. We got to get a fourth one, right? The prequel or the ending one, whatever. So we went and saw it, and of course, what did we do before we went and saw it Friday or Thursday when it came out? It was actually pretty good. I have to give it a pretty good movie. They do a pretty good job with the scare factor of that. Because of course, like Wednesday night, we had to binge the first three movies back to back to back. And Steph's like, I want to watch the prequels. Right? So we are conjured out in this household. And while watching the third one, which I must have missed somehow being out of town, I instantly thought, why don't I do a podcast episode, a coaching call on the conjuring of conjuring up note deals? So the conjuring the Holy Spirit or getting rid of evil spirits and demons, and let's do an exorcism this morning and help you guys attract note deals to your inbox. How to get people to send you deals with high returns without having to sell your soul to the devil. How's that sound? All right. So, one of the things I want you guys to keep in mind is, look, note investing, let's be honest, especially in what we do in buying banknotes. I'm not talking about creating an owner finance note, or heck, it is difficult if you're just going to chase owner finance notes, sending hundreds of postcards and letters hoping somebody would reach out to you to sell you their note, who aren't going to just kick the tires and light the fires. That's literally, you need like to summon the devil to have that work for you. Look, it's 2025. Okay. Direct mail, while it still works in some cases, is not an effective tool in a lot of cases. You have to really go above and beyond to get deals sent to you these days. And you have to embrace technology. You have to embrace social media, embrace some of the things that we do to get in front of people. Now, let's just face it. Most people are inherently lazy. They're scared of work, right? They're not going to do the things. They're going to sit up there and say, "Oh, you can't find no deals. There's too many people." Or banks aren't going to sell to you. You're too small. Like, listen, let's face it. You do not have to be a priest or an ordained investor to get stuff sent to you. Okay. Now, I have been called the devil. Somebody's called me the devil and said, no, you must be Satan to be a note investor. Okay. I was at an event years ago and somebody goes, oh, you must be with the mafia to buy notes. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's a lot of idiots out there. And yes, maybe I get a little fired. Well, let's just be honest. I get fired up a lot of times when I hear falsehoods. When people say, oh, you can't buy direct from banks, it's only one person's ever done it. That's a bunch of bullshit when people say they haven't done it. When people say it can't be done, it's because they haven't done it before. Okay. That's like saying there's no evil out there. Nobody's ever been possessed because they've never been possessed themselves. All right. Look, there's a good, there's a bad. My faith tells me that. I'm not going to be religious here. No, I'm not going to throw some holy water on you and watch you start steaming. I'm not going to pull a cross out and watch you burst on fire. You don't need to do none of that stuff to find note deals. Okay. I want you to keep in mind, though, there's one word. Okay. One word I want you to keep in mind when looking for note deals. All right. And it's basically broken down into the word tapes. T.A.P.E.S. Tapes. Okay. Now it stands for something. All right. T.A.P.E.S. Now, what does it stand for? Okay. Very easy to understand this. Okay. Tapes stands for, the T in tape stands for titles. Okay. Job titles on LinkedIn. Okay. And by this, I mean you go over to LinkedIn and you will dive that in a little second. Okay. I'll show you. Well, I won't show you, but I'll walk you through it. I've done it many times. If you're attending our note buying workshop, this is one of the first things we go through in the first day is how to find these job titles on LinkedIn and how to connect with them. Okay. assignment of mortgages. And you're going to use a website called Netra Online to help you out with that. So T in TAPE stands for titles, A stands for assignment of mortgages, P stands for people. Duh. Okay. And by people, we mean networking with other investors, especially note investors. Okay. But investors is the first place to go. E does not stand for exorcism. It stands for events. Okay. And I'm being events, I mean actual events attended by industry professionals, not some of these little knock off 100, 200 people events that are only going to be a bunch of note investors running around looking for note investors. Okay. Okay. I'm talking about true industry conferences or mortgage banking association conferences or servicing conferences, something that's legitimate. Okay. All right. Not something that's going to have 100 people on it that some guy's putting on. All right. I'm talking about true industry events. Okay. Now, S does not stand for spirits. Okay. Okay. S stands for social. Yes. Posting and following up on social. There's two parts of this, not just the cluster F that we see in some of these small Facebook groups of posting, hey, I buy and sell anything. No, I'm talking to me more professional and actually having some stuff to follow up with things. And we'll talk about all of these as it stands for. What's that word? Tapes. What's it stand for? T, title, A, assignment, P, people, E, events, S, social. Now let's dive into this. Let's pull out our bag of tricks to drive deals into your inbox. Okay. Now, job titles on LinkedIn, I've talked about this multiple times, many times. There's basically just a few job titles to look for. And it's easy to go there and type in for people that are currently doing this right now. If you type in special asset managers on LinkedIn, it'll pull up thousands of people that have that job title. Special asset manager. Look at the bank. Just go through. If you're looking for somebody specific at a lender or a bank, look for their job title of special asset manager or secondary marketing. Okay. Secondary marketing manager. All right. Those two will find a ton of people. You can jump over on like laneguide.com and look for special asset managers as well too. I'll find now some special asset managers are on the REO side, others on the note side. Some are on the residential, others on the commercial. It's okay. They should know each other. So reach out to them. Hey, I'm looking for your special asset manager in charge of non-performing notes, or I'm looking for your secondary marketing manager in charge of your non-performing notes. Okay. When you get into smaller regional banks, you may look for chief credit risk officer. All right. You'll see that happen quite a bit. Chief credit risk officer or whole loan traders. If you're looking for like REITs and insurance companies, that's what they call the individuals at these big firms that handle the note trading, the whole loan traders. And guess what? Yes, they'll sell you some stuff. Now, most of these, they don't require you to have $5 to $10 million. Now, if you're going to buy from Bank of America, Chase City, Wells Fargo, of course they want you to buy in big bulk. But guess what? You don't have to with most of the regional banks, the lenders, even some of these servicing companies out there. They're selling stuff off that you can cherry pick. Okay, so do not let somebody tell you you can't buy direct from banks, because you can. There's a few banks you can't buy from, but the mass majority of them will allow you to. We've got one broker that we deal with, one trader who gets stuff from over 600 banks that send them 620 banks and some stuff that they can cherry pick. And there's another 15,000 plus, actually it's closer to 20,000 lending institutions out there, about 5,000 are bank, and then about 15,000 plus that are just lenders have notes. Okay. Now, are they going to have a huge amount of notes? Yes, some will, some won't. It just varies lender by lender, institution by institution. Okay. They can also look for loan portfolio manager. That's another smaller job title. All right. You might find some smaller investors who might call themselves a portfolio manager. That's fine. Right. But these 5 job titles are probably the ones that you want to look the most for. Okay. Now, the next one, let's move on. So the job titles were now A for assignment of mortgages. Now, if you don't know what an assignment of mortgage is, oh my God, we need to talk. Okay. An assignment of mortgage is what is transferred. Okay. Transferred. When one note buyer sells it to when one note buyer buys a note from another note seller. Okay. It's not a deed, and a contract for deed, that's what's transferred. That's pretty easy to find. Not a big deal. But we're not talking about contract for deeds. We're talking about mortgage notes here. A mortgage note, what's transferred is not the ownership or anything like that. Title doesn't change. What is changed is the assignment of the mortgage. Okay. That is what gets recorded at the county recorder's office to officially transfer the note in the public from ABC Bank to CDEF Bank. Okay. Now you're going to go to your county recorder's office, your county clerk office. Some go by either or. What we do is we use Netra Online to find those specific departments across the U.S. So you can go Netra Online, pick a state, pick a county, and look for either the county clerk or the county recorder's office. And then what you're going to do is go on there and do a document search type. And you're going to look for an assignment, ASSGN, maybe that you may need to find what the shortened acronym is for assignment. Okay, it's not going to usually be assignment of mortgage. It's just going to be assignment, usually the document type. And then what you're going to do is do a search by month, by year. And if you do it by a whole year, it's probably too many records, and it won't show you. So you probably got to go by month. Like when we do assignment of mortgage searches in Harris County or Orange County, Florida, which is where Houston and Orlando are at, we have to go month by month. And yes, we do track these. About once a quarter, go on there and take a look and see what's been pulled a year ago. I don't go in the first year. You know, those are usually going to be new mortgages that originated that get sold from a mortgage company, a mortgage warehouse line, mortgage banker to a bank. Okay, now there will be some transfers. Okay, I'll talk about how you can do something like that in with old tapes and look see what's transferred the last year. That's fine. But if you're looking, I would go a year ago and do a search month by month, and then look at the entities. There's going to be an assignee and an assignor. Somebody's assigning who's getting assigned. So there's two potential entities, not spirits, but LLCs or lending institutions. One that's sold it and one who's bought it. Okay, and that's a great way to do it. All right, and look for the company name. So that's two potential sources for you for deals to reach out to. But most importantly, look at who signed off on the deal. Look who has signed off on the assignment mortgage, not the notary stamp, but the actual person and or witnesses. Some states require two witnesses. But look who signed off, because they'll usually have a job title. Well, that will give you a person who you can reach out to on LinkedIn or track that person down who signed off on this, who's in charge of the note sales, who knows the person in charge of the note sales. Okay? It may just be a secretary signing off on it, but that's a person reach out to who works on behalf of somebody. So that will help you find names and job titles of people at specific institutions. And that's an easy search on LinkedIn to find that person, and then either contact them on LinkedIn or use like rocketreach.com to locate an email or phone number for them. Now, Rocket Reach will give you like 100 connections a month for 99 bucks. It's a little expensive, but guess what? And sometimes it's well worth its weight in gold to find the right asset manager. Okay? Well worth it. Give it a try. I'm not getting paid anything, but rocketreach.com is something you can use to locate email and phone numbers of professionals and their LinkedIn profiles. So there you go. That's what A stands for. T stands for titles, A stands for assignments. If you do this search, do it, you'll find plenty of places to reach out to. I mean, use your foreclosure list if you want to, and jump on the foreclosure list to see who is assignment, where that note came from to begin with. Okay, P stands for people. And when you talk about networking with people, you got to get out one way or another and network with people. Like I'm headed this week up to Portland. That's another P. To network with a bunch of money nerds. Now, I'm probably going to be, actually, I'm only going to be one or two note investors there. No, I take that back. There might be 3 or 4 other note investors. I got an interview with one later today. And another guy going is one of my one-on-one coaching students. So there might be 4 or 5 of us note investors there in the paper space. Okay. That's not a great event to go to if you're a note investor. It is a good event for me to go network with other people because I'm learning stuff about marketing and social and all that good stuff, on tools and tricks and stuff like that. But I'm networking with people that will help expand my audience to find more people. Now, for most of you, you need to search for note investors in your area. And where would you do that? You can go to local real estate clubs, events. Those are easy to do. Usually they're going to meet once a week or once a month. Go out, network, talk to people. Hey, go to the person there and say, who do you know who's another note investor here? Are they here? Some groups have special interest groups. That's a great story. Okay. Great way to go. Rub shoulders, rub elbows with other people. And I don't care if it's owner finance notes or bank notes, it's performing and non-performing, first or seconds. Just get out, start networking with it, because you got to build your network when you start getting stuff in, because that becomes a way for you to potentially move product, wholesale stuff, make money, and vice versa. The same thing hopefully comes to you. Okay. Now, you could also, I like contacting self-directed IRA investors in your county or your preferred counties, not only to fund deals, but these are all investors who have also bought stuff. So if you find out that they own a note in their IRA, you could go check a deed record search to see if they lent money out of it or who they bought it from. Now, that's only if it's titled in their IRA. Okay. But that's still a phenomenal thing to look at to find local people and who they bought their notes from. Okay. And like I said, you can also go to LinkedIn and narrow it down looking for note investors in your city or state by that job title or position. And just look for note investors, say Austin, Texas, note investor, Orlando, Florida, wherever you call home. And start connecting with people. Hey, I saw that you're note investor locally. Love to meet up, love have coffee, whatever. Okay. And like I said, don't be afraid to reach out via phone, email, phone, social. If they give you their contact information on LinkedIn, pick up the phone, drop an email. I always like talking to investors. They're usually a pretty friendly bunch. Hey, I'm a local note investor or I'm getting started as a new note investor. Just wanted to call the network. What are you buying these days? Or what are you looking for? You looking for anything? If I come across it, I'd love to send it to you. Now, this is not a difficult thing, but it's always one of the hardest things. Is most of you out there, no offense, you think your social media is a database, and your social media profiles and network connections and friends are not your database. Okay. You have to build a database as a real estate investor. That means Excel spreadsheet, CRM, something to be able to communicate with people, not just posting to Facebook or LinkedIn. And I know most of us have never had to market our own business before. You don't realize that. But your database is one of your most valuable things you have. And maybe you're starting at zero. You got to start putting people somewhere to communicate with them, to drip market to them, and not just a social media post, because we all know social media only shares about 1% to 5% of our audience. Now, we'll get to that later on. But getting out and networking with people is inventing. And like I said, drop a postcard letter to the self-directed IRA investors. Hey, saw that you use your IRA. I'd love to visit with you. Love to connect. I got a postcard in the mail today from an event that I'm attending in about a month. I think it's a great little touch. I need to send more postcards out. Got a whole box of them here. Thank you cards. And just people do this now. It adds an extra touch like, hey, just wanting to connect. Hey, want to thank you for taking the time. All right. Now, E stands for events. Okay. Events. Not the great exorcism of 1975. All right. None of that stuff. Okay. Events, not exorcism. Now, for some of you, it might take us to exercise the demons in you, the limiting beliefs, to get you to do shit or to get you to attend something. But I digress. Let's go to different events. Now, events, like I said, look at the different events. These are things you don't necessarily have to attend. I'm not telling you to go out and buy a $1,500, $2,000 ticket to go to New York to attend the secondary marketing conference up there. I fly out to West Dana Point or San Juan Capistrano to attend the Western Secondary Market event. No, you don't need to do that. But go look at these events, search these events out, and then go see who's on the roll. Look at the events, look at the sponsors, look at the speakers. That will give you often a lot of great sellers or companies that are showing up that may have notes available for sale. Heck, imn.org would basically publicize the attendee list, give you the company name and the job title. That's pretty easy to search for that on LinkedIn. They've just changed it up now. They've gotten smart. But I wouldn't, no reason to attend if I could look at the attendee list and then use my VA to find those people and then connect with them. Okay. Some of the events you could go to, like IMN has a whole 40 different events they teach a year. We just did a podcast with Jeff Johnson from the Capital Markets Conference in DFW and then found out that he hosts about 90 to 100 different events across the country. That's a great thing to go to locally. Like I've already outlined when his other events are in the different states that we're buying in as potential ways to go out and network with people. I may be flying out for the day, or I may just be looking at who's showing up. Okay. Looking at your local state's mortgage banking association or the big MBA conference. That's great. The Western Secondary Marketing Conference or the big servicing conferences. Look at those that take place on the West Coast, the East Coast, or Vegas, and look at who's attending. All right. And then look at the speakers, connect with them on LinkedIn or shoot them an email. If you're going to be near the event, go to the event and try to schedule a meeting with them. All right. A lot of these events also have a membership directory. Like MBA, like the Western Secondary Marketing Conference, you go in there and see who's part of that membership. And guess what? Reach out and talk to them. Reach out and touch someone, not in a creepy way, like it's a ghost or goblin. All right. Don't just they're like, oh, ghost them. Me trying to come up with as many ghost and spiritual demonic alliterations things during this webinar is a little interesting. I've got a list here I'm trying to go through. Okay. But anyway, I digress. Go to these events, go to the membership directory, see who's a part of it, reach out to them. You'll never know who you'll find. Just in your local market, local banks, going to the the Chamber of Commerce, seeing who's there. I mean, a lot of these banks will just have specific like PR people going, but they can often put you in touch with the right person, the right department for different things. Now, S doesn't stand for spirit, it stands for social media. And I know some of you just got cringy, but there's good and bad. Okay. Good, bad. Okay. Bad is stop posting in small Facebook groups. You look like Joker brokers, and a lot of them on there. I buy anything, I sell anything. Look like a Joker broker because they're just saying, I got a tape. I buy anything. I buy anything. All right. I buy the IOU you gave your brother Bubba 10 years ago. I'll buy that note. No, no, no. They look like a freaking Joker broker. Okay. And look at a person's profile. Click at their profile. If they don't have a professional photo, profile, website, they are a Joker broker. I am much more excited more about going to LinkedIn groups. Now, yes, people will say, well, not a lot of people post in LinkedIn groups. I know they won't. Some do, some won't. But the LinkedIn groups are much more effective because you can actually click on the people who are members of these groups and see what they do, their job title, where they're located. That's one of the best things you can do. You ain't got to go post in a LinkedIn group. I mean, still, I think you should go post your LinkedIn. I buy notes, or this is exactly what I'm looking for. LinkedIn is effective that way, whereas Facebook isn't. Okay. LinkedIn is still the #1 social media platform for any type of professional thing. And that's what you want to do, is because if asset managers are going to start reaching out and searching for you, they're going to go to LinkedIn and see that you're posting. Great. Post that you buy notes, post a map, batch geo map of a tape that you got in. Okay. One of the most important things, follow keywords like note investor or note investing on there. All right. Those are some things to take a look at. Start following note speakers, people who supposed to post on note investing. All right. There's like 4 people that I follow on there really closely. Every day I see their posts. Some are comical, some straight up business, but guess what? It leads to me tracking down deals. It leads me to finding notes that they closed on. All right. Now, you could also take a next step and go to those companies, like if they have a name like Credit IQ, or you go to exchange.loans and see who they've bought notes with or sold notes with, or notes that they're trading, and do a reverse engineer search on the assignments to find out who they are. Okay. That's one thing you can do. It only takes some time for you to do, to reverse engineer, and then pick up the phone or drop on an email or send an email. But you build this database through your social, through your working, to create your ultimate buyers list. This is what we've done for years. All right. And all you have to do is drip market to these lists on a regular basis. Or if you look at an old tape, I'll give you a great example. And we've got a podcast episode coming out next week. We have one of our new students, Carl, who's doing a great job, sending me a tape. He said, I got a tape in from a note seller. I'm like, that's awesome, man. And then we started looking at it, and it's like all or nothing. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to be all or nothing. And I started looking. I said, well, look, you could look at these researches real fast, and we find out this is from this one company, this is from another company, this is from a third company. So these are 3 companies that own 3 different notes on them. This is not an all or nothing. There's no way this guy's going to negotiate with all these companies to be a pull off, or he's smoking crack. Okay. But you can reach out to these 3 companies to get their list of notes. And that's exactly what Carl's going to do. I got to give a big shout out, though, first to some folks who've commented on some of our YouTube videos here. First and foremost, Harry Fallick, thank you so much for commenting. I know that you're out there rock and rolling and you love Netra Online. As you say, I'm looking for all the help I can get. Thanks for your help. Wish me luck. There you go. This is one thing for you, Harry. Ken Strauss from Houston, Texas, a realtor. Good to see you there, buddy. Space Puffed commented, hey, man, great for you. Thank you for posting. Always love to hear from you guys. And let's see, view all. Oh, why is it not letting me here? I'll have to go back to it. But guys, thank you so much for your comments. It really does mean a lot when you post on those videos, or you respond, or you share. Thank you so much for doing it. I don't need a ton of positive reinforcement to keep rocking what I'm doing. But once again, let's go back here. The most important thing you guys need to do is avoid Joker brokers. Like I talked about before, when you get a tape in and it looks funky, it looks like it's a recycled paper stack tape. I mean, you can go on a paper stack and look who those sellers are and go directly to them. That's pretty simple. But if you're going to recycle a tape from paper stack, make sure you take off like the yield, curve, the hardest hit fund states. Have a little common sense on stuff that you don't see on normal bankers, because banks don't care about hardest hit funds because those don't exist. Okay. You got to look at a clean list and you'll find some clean deals. If you look at an old list, then you can use that old list to go find note sellers, and maybe they'll have something new, or maybe they'll have a portfolio they need to sell off and go from there. Okay. Like Revolve Capital is sending out a list that was Oak Harbor's old stuff. Now, maybe it's stuff they bought from Oak Harbor and worked it out, because I've recognized a couple of deals on that we made offers on, we went to due diligence with. But you definitely want to make sure and take a look at it. Do your due diligence, but very easily to find. Like Oak Harbor sold these to Harbor. I'm sorry, not Harbor. Oak Harbor sold them to Revolve. Revolve used to be Grand Loan Solutions and another couple of things. But anyway, avoid the joker brokers. Big thing, if they have no photo, no website, no about us, they don't have a legitimate email, info at or contact us at or sales at a domain is not a good thing. You need to find an email, see who they are talking about, and contact them directly. If it's just an LLC and there's nothing there, nothing professional, it's a joker broker and move on. Okay. Or a small investor looking to buy some stuff. That's fine. Okay. But those are some of the different ways that you guys can dive into notes. You don't have to say, like I said before, you don't have to get out here, cover yourself with holy water, read from the Bible. I think the reading from the Bible is not a bad thing, but guess what? If you pray, note deals will not come if you pray. You got to take some action. And this is how we conjure up note deals using these 5 things. Once again, keep the word tapes in mind. T, what's the T stand for? What does the T stand for? Titles, job titles. A, assignment of mortgages. P, people. E, events. S, social. Titles, assignment, people, events, social. That's what the tapes stand for. And if you use this system and spend a little bit of time, not hours and hours and hours, but you spend 30 minutes a day, you will find some stuff, especially looking at job titles and assignment of mortgages, or even networking with people on social media. Those are the 3 better ways to do it. Of course, events take a little bit more deep dive, and then social will also take a deeper dive because not everybody's going to see your stuff. But getting out there on LinkedIn, county records, and then networking with people are 3 of your best ways to do it. So use these 5 tactics to find more tapes, to conjure up more note deals, and guess what? Then you will bask in the church of higher return and feel like God has put his blessing on you. All right. So let's exercise those demons that's saying that you can't do something. Get rid of that stinking thinking. You can buy notes. And yes, you're good enough. Doggone it. You're smart enough. Doggone it. And note sellers will like you and send you tapes. So go out there, take some action, everybody. I hope you found this a little bit comical. If you like this episode, make sure to comment, share it with somebody else, and we'll see you at the top, everybody. Bye. Hey, real estate investors, this is Scott Carson. I'm known across the country as a note guy. For the past 20 years, I've been buying distressed assets, primarily non-performing notes on residential and commercial properties. And if you've ever wanted to learn how to dive in to start buying non-performing notes from banks, hedge funds, or other investors like yourself, then there's no greater place than to get the nuts and bolts, the A to Z, the 1 through 99 place to get started. It is our virtual note buying workshop. We've been teaching this class since 2010 on how to find, fund, flip non-performing notes, how to get banks to call you with deals that you can cherry pick. And no, you don't need millions. No, you don't need a lot of experience to start looking at non-performing notes. We get the lists of notes from banks, hedge funds on a regular basis, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but hundreds of deals that we can evaluate and cherry pick. Whether we're looking for performing notes or non-performing notes that we can get reperforming, or non-performing notes you can foreclose and take back, whatever your niche or whatever you would like to focus on, we can help make it happen at the virtual note buying workshop. It's a 3-day class. Our next one is April 18th to the 20th. It's actually online live via Zoom. You get signed up by going to notebuyingfordummies.com. That's notebuyingfordummies.com. Day 1 is all about how to find these assets. How do you find asset managers? How do you find lists of people to reach out to that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on postcards or letters that you waste money on? We don't do that. Day 2 is all about raising capital and marketing and how to create a business that feeds itself, that you can do part-time, 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week, depending on what your focus is. We'll show you a game plan to achieve deal flow coming in on autopilot versus you having to send a ton of money. And also, we'll show you how to raise capital like nobody else does. And then day 3 is all about the flip. How do we structure deals? How do we evaluate a tape to find the deals from the duds? All right. We'll show you what vendors to use. We'll give you a 200+ page manual, contracts, sample forms, all the stuff that you need to be a lean, mean note buying machine when you get wrapped up. Now, yes, this is live April 18th through the 20th online via Zoom. Get signed up today. We'll send you the replays of the previous online workshop so you can start learning, start evaluating material, and get rock and rolling. And if for some reason you don't like our class, we have 100% money back guarantee involved with it. If at the end of the first day you don't like what we talk about, you don't think it's impactful, just let me know. We'll refund back your tuition, no questions asked. We don't want your money. We want you to become a note buyer. We want you to become a lien lord. All right. Like I said, if you're tired of dealing with toilets, tenants, and trash outs, you don't want to deal with renters, then becoming a note investor is the path for you. Everybody evolves into a note investor at some point, but there are plenty of opportunities out there. There are millions of non-performing notes that you can cherry pick. No, it's not all junk. It can be small value all the way up to $1 million homes or $1 million apartments for you. So much opportunity is taking place right now in the chaotic market that we see. And who's going to come out on top? Note investors will. So take the time, get signed up today, April 18th to 20th. Go to notebuyingfordummies.com or go to our website, weclosenotes.com, and sign up for the virtual workshop there. As always, get signed up today. We run discounts all the time. The cost of tuition is you plus your partner or spouse. So get signed up today at notebuyingfordummies.com, and we'll see you at the top.